طيب. We get started with the next question, inshallah. If your question wasn't answered last night, if you wish, you can repost it tonight, inshallah ta'ala. Bismillah. Fadda Abu Idris.
Sheikh, what's the ruling on drawing like cartoon characters, humans, animals, created characters for children's books, whether it be Islamic books or a general education book? What's allowed to be drawn and what isn't?
Question says, what's the ruling on drawing cartoon characters for children's education, Islamic education, so on and so forth? The general rule of a taswir, with regards to that which is done with the hand, painting, sculpting, drawing, sketching, illustrating, is that it's haram. And it's from the major sins. That's with regards to that which is done with the hand. As far as with a machine, with a computer, with a phone, etc., as we have explained in the lessons that we did on the channel with regards to taswir and mentioned the ins and outs. But with the hand, the ring is far tighter. It's far more cramped. It's not as much room as there is with regards to the camera. Everybody understand this? That which is done with the what? With the hand. Tayyib? That's in general. As far as with an educational purpose, now some of the ulama of Islam today, they say that if you have a book in your house, a magazine or book, but especially like a book that's educational, it's teaching you about geography and different things like this, then you don't necessarily have to cross out and erase every single thing which is considered a surah, whether it's with a camera or by hand. But that's the ruling that they mentioned with regards to obtaining it and holding it and having it. As far as the Muslim himself doing it and using it and illustrating it, and perhaps that's a different story. Perhaps that's a what? A different story. Now one is going to say, well, if it's permissible to have based off of those fatwa, because of educational purposes, because of the need, the necessity, the durura, the haja, to learn, to interact, the children to be in the modern world today, then why isn't it permissible for Muslims themselves to do it? And maybe if the Muslims themselves illustrate some of these things, it won't be nudity, it won't be any lewdness, it won't be any homosexual subtleties that they're trying to, insinuate in a child's mind. Some families have two daddies and different things like this. Why the other billah, or I'm different. Every animal in the forest is different. Some are made different, insinuating that it's okay to be a homosexual and be attracted to a man and to be attracted to a woman. That's natural, and that's something, if you're born like that, and if you have that desire, then it's okay. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to make jihad al-nafs against your desires. It's all right. That's clearly problematic, especially in 2017. Everybody understand this? Last but not least, what some of the people of knowledge say with regards to illustrating a thing that doesn't actually exist. A creation or created being that isn't real. That isn't what? That isn't real. Something that in most cases doesn't exist. Everybody understand this? Or some of the people of knowledge may say having a body without the head or a head without the body, which doesn't exist. Everybody understand this? So these are some of the details with regards to the issues of taswir in general, and also when it comes to something pertaining to education and a need and a necessity. If it can be avoided and other people can do it, then that's best. Wallahu alam. Hopefully that's clear, inshallah. Salih.
Amina Cruz Hauer from Cologne, Germany. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Is it permissible to name, I'm assuming this is your son, your child Yasin or Taha, like the surahs in the Quran?
طيب. Is it permissible to name your child Yasin or Taha like the surahs in the Quran? The people of knowledge say you're allowed to name your child whatever you like, whatever is pleasing to you, as long as there is no specific ayah or hadith prohibiting that name, and as long as it does not hold a meaning which is foul and Islamically rejected and looked down upon. a meaning which is foul, a meaning which is Islamically condemned in general, let alone a name in which there's a specific hadith or ayah against. If it doesn't fall under that, then they say you can name your child whatever you wish to name your child. Now, what's preferable, what's best, what have the Muslims been doing for all of these years? What do the early Muslims name their children, the Salaf as-Salih, so on and so forth? That's a different story. But it doesn't mean that it's haram. It doesn't mean that it's disliked. Everybody understand this? So once more, the rule is, if there's no hadith, if there's no ayah saying, do not name your children this, do not call your sons this. If the meaning does not hold a negative connotation, a negative meaning, something that is foul, something that is just un-Islamic, then you're allowed to name your child that. Everybody understand this or not? What's best not to name the child? Perhaps. Ijtihad of an alim, you shouldn't name your son Jibreel. The Salaf never had the name Jibreel. That doesn't mean that it's haram or disliked. Everybody understand this? وهكذا. So the door, the bab, tasmiyah, the gateway of naming is wide open unless there's something specific from Kitab and Sunnah to shut that gate, or unless there's something that's general that's clear. And you can't just say that it's impermissible to have a name of tazkiyah, because most Islamic names, or if not most, many of them have a tazkiyah in them, like Salih. Salih. You call your son Salih. He may be, waliyadhu billah, min afsaq al-nas. He may be the most wicked of the people, but that's his name. It doesn't mean that he's going around strutting himself saying that I'm Salih, I'm righteous, but that's his name. Or Muhammad, Ahmed, Mahmud. Everybody understand this? Al-Amin. And a person could be a kha'in. He could be Abu Treachery. Everybody understand this? He could be not treacherous, but Abu Treachery. He could be treacherous. Everybody understand this? But his name is Al-Amin. So therefore, you can't say that you can't name your children certain names because of a tazkiyah, because most names have what? Some type of self-purification in them. Wallahu alam. Fadl.
Usman Razak from George Mason University, Fairfax, Virginia. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. May Allah reward you. My question is, how does one overcome the feelings of not feeling close to Allah? Any beneficial tips?
How does one overcome the feelings of not feeling close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Any beneficial tips? I would say, wallahu alam, by you feeling far from Allah, that's a part of you getting closer to Allah. Knowing is half the battle. Knowing is half the struggle. For a person to feel that he's far from Allah means that there's room, major room for improvement. For tawbah. There's tawbah that I have to make. You have to get these sins off my back. I have bad company around me. Bad acts and practices that I'm performing that makes me feel far from Allah. Things that I watch, things that I listen to, places that I go, foods that I eat, people that I hang out with, who's in my inner company that makes me feel what? Far from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the fact that you feel that way, whether it's true or whether it isn't, that's inshallah a means of you pushing yourself with the night ta'ala. Then once you notice and you feel this way, then just sit down and make a list of things that make you feel far from Allah. And write down a thing or a list of things that make you feel close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I'm in the masjid, I feel close to Allah. So then how often I'm in the masjid? Just once a day, just once a week, just once a month, once a year. Go to the masjid more often. SubhanAllah, when I made Umrah, I felt closer to Allah. You need to go make Umrah again. Everybody understand this? When I hang around all Muslims at school, at work, I feel closer to Allah. The kuffar, they talk about women, they talk about sports, they talk about this, they gossip, they da-da-da-da. That's all they do is chat all day. Talk, void speech, nasty speech in the workplace. I feel far from Allah. So you know you need to do what? Either remove yourself from that job, or at least remove yourself from those co-workers to the best of your ability. Wahakadha. It's just that simple. And make for yourself a daily goal, a weekly goal, a monthly goal, and a yearly goal. Every year, I'm going to make Hajj or Umrah. I'm going to save up some money. This or these shoes that I have, this expensive thing, I'm going to cut back on Amazon. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to save money, and I'm going to make Umrah every year. Once a month, I'm going to go to a major lecture. Once a week, I'm going to go to Fajr in Jama'ah. Wahakadha. Everybody understand this? I'm going to cut off a bad friend once a month. It's hard for me to cut all of them off. It's hard. But you gradually, progressively, step by step. That's the best practical advice I could give you. What makes you feel close to Allah? Do it more. What makes you feel further from Allah? Stay away from it. piece by piece, step by step, progressively, I know for sure that there isn't any believer except that he's going to scorn his or her deeds and is going to look down upon his or her good actions. And there isn't any munafiq except that they are going to feel safe. They're going to be duped and deluded thinking that they are there, and actually they're not there. Wallahu alam. Fadl. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
What's the ruling on receiving the prize from sport game?
Receiving what?
Prize.
A prize?
Yes. Like
A prize from?
From a sport game, you know.
Like basketball.
Yeah. Like
Tahir. Khair inshallah. Tahir. Last night we were explaining, Allah alam, if it came from the same lantern or not. What's important? Kharaja min mishkatin wahida. Allah alam. Al-muhim. Last night we explained this in detail. There's the people of knowledge, they say there's nothing wrong with that, which is called al-ji'ala. And al-ji'ala is basically for someone to say, if you do this, I'll give you that. Anyone who brings me this will receive this. It's not gambling. It's not two people involved paying money. It's not definite loss and possible gain. But I'm making a prize. Everybody understand this? The one who's memorized this hadith first, he'll get a book. Everybody understand this? So if you're in a basketball league and there isn't no gambling, nothing that you're paying, that you're giving, that's definite loss and possible gain, and the winner receives a trophy. Every player gets $500 and a free trip on Umrah. ذَلِكَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ. That's from Allah's bounty. With that condition. With that what? With that condition. There's nothing wrong with receiving a prize or a gift. The prize or the gift, that's problematic if it's connected to something else. So interest. If it's connected to you losing, you paying something. Everybody understand this? Things like this. Wallahu alam. Fadl Saleh.
Khair from Ottawa, Canada. Is it possible to be a student of knowledge and have a desire to study ilm on a serious level, but also be in post-secondary school? Are the two mutually exclusive?
It's possible to be a serious student of knowledge and to study secular things and be in school. It's possible, but eventually it's going to become impossible. Eventually. One of the two things has to go. They're not going to get along. Everybody understands it just doesn't work. You can't cook two goat heads, what? In one pot, they say. It's not enough space. Eventually, you can, do it on the side, learn Arabic, learn Quran. But if you really get serious and passionate and dedicated, the secular studies have to go or the ilm has to go. Allahu alam. Naam.
Hanan Aslam, New York. Are the hadiths regarding cursing of the Prophet ﷺ's time applied to cursing of nowadays, like the F word? I heard it is, but I don't understand why.
I don't know of any specific hadiths with regards to the specifics of all types of obscenities or being lewd or profanity. Specific hadith that gives the detail of what is and what isn't profanity. The Prophet ﷺ, we know he wasn't fahish or mutafahish. The mu'min is not laysa bil badhi. The believer is not obscene. The believer is not profane. Tayyib. In general, and there are certain things in which are mentioned. Don't curse Allah. Naam. Don't curse the time. Things like this. Don't say this. Don't say that. In general, prohibitions. But actual hadith about specific curse words in his time and applicable to other times, I don't know about that. What's important is that which is considered to be an obscenity, a profanity, that which is considered to be lewdness in the culture, that's what the believer has to stay away from. Everybody understand this? Obviously, this is relative. There's certain words which may be cursed, which are not like other words, like damn. It's not as bad as saying bleep, bleep, bleep. Or even in some cultures, I had a brother from the UK, from London. He said SHIT is normal in the UK. It's normal. Or brother from France or from Europe, certain parts of Europe, in which they say that word like it's what? Nothing. Like a piece of crap in the street. They say it like it's ID. It's not a cuss word to them. Everybody understand this? Or bitch. Some people from the UK, I met like they said it's normal. It's a normal word. It's not a cuss word to us. Everybody understand this? In America, obviously, that's not going to work like that. Even if the people curse and they talk like this is normal, it's still considered to be what? Curse word. And you wouldn't say it in front of your grandmother unless your grandmother is what? Oh, gee. Unless your grandmother's a gangster. But in most cases, you're not going to talk like that in front of your grandmother or your aunt. And the list goes on, someone that's from the old school, because it's considered to be a what? Wallahu alam.
AK from Cologne, Germany. Assalamu alaikum. Is there a dalil for not speaking in the bathroom? And should we recite the last 2 ayat of Surah Al-Baqarah also for morning and evening adhkar?
A specific dalil in which you cannot or should not speak in the bathroom. There isn't something that comes to my head at this time, a specific authentic dalil that prohibits the Muslim or encourages the Muslim not to speak in the bathroom. There are hadith that talk about the reality of the bathroom, that there are shayateen there, al-khubthi wal-khaba'ith, the hadith of Anas, the hadith which is an authentic in Sunnah Abi Dawood, and the hadith hushush muhtadara, that these hushush, these bathrooms, things come there, they're present there. The believer is supposed to be in and out. Hadith of Ali, satru ma bayna awrat bani Adam, the screen between the shaitan, the jinn, and the private areas of the children of Adam is to say Bismillah. Things like this, about the etiquettes of the bathroom. And the people of knowledge, they understand these hadiths, and they talk about these hadiths, that no one will stay in the bathroom for excessive time. It's not befitting of the believer. It's just not a clean place. Everybody understand this? The hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, that's collected by Imam Tirmidhi and others, that the Messenger of Allah said when he left the bathroom, he would say, Ghufranaka, oh, your forgiveness, O Allah. It's not necessarily an authentic hadith. It's not necessarily sahih. Some of the ulama, they hold the view that it's sahih, but it's not necessarily a strong hadith. The ulama, they say that the Prophet ﷺ is quoted to have said this because he wasn't making the dhikr of Allah when he was in the bathroom. He wasn't making the dhikr of Allah in the bathroom, so he asked Allah to forgive him. Shaykh ibn Uthaymeen and others, they give a different explanation of the hadith. They say if you don't talk in the bathroom, you don't make dhikr of Allah, it's not something to seek forgiveness for, because it's something that you stayed away from because of Allah and His Messenger. At the end of the day, talking in the bathroom is not necessarily haram. Mentioning Allah's name in the bathroom is not necessarily haram. But unnecessary conversation, unnecessary sitting, and just, being in that place is something that the people of knowledge say the Muslim should avoid. The Muslim what? Should avoid. But it's prohibited to talk in the bathroom. Allahu Alam.
UI, Ottawa, Canada. Is it haram to read an English dua in sujood during a called salah if one is a beginner in Arabic?
Reading an English supplication in the Fard Salah, in the sujood, I would not advise and I would not recommend you should do that. If you can't say it in Arabic, then say it outside of the prayer. Say it outside of the prayer. Push come to shove, if you wanted to say it inside of the Salah, you make dua at the end of your tashahhud before the taslim. You can have the paper on the floor. You can be looking at it right in front of you, not too far from you. But anything like this should be done in the recommended prayers and not necessarily in the Fard Salah. And inshallah, keep making ijtihad, keep trying, keep memorizing, keep striving until you can do it by heart in the Fard Salah in Arabic. That's best. Wallahu alam. Abu Idris.
When it comes to food and eating the food of Ahlul Kitab, do we go on a basis of trying to decipher if a country itself is considered Ahlul Kitab, or should you try to see specifically that restaurant or that family, or how do we actually decipher what is Ahlul Kitab or not?
طيب. Yani today it's a bit different than how it was back then. All right, with regards to countries, it was pretty well known what they were applying as a whole in the past. Relatively, it's well known. This is the land of the Buddhists, it's land of mushriks, land of Christians, lands of Jews, lands of Muslims in general. Nowadays, widespread nominal and secular lifestyle is everything is mixed. You may go to this is a hypothetical issue now. You go to a Asian restaurant or Chinese restaurant, type, and you go in there and they have the cat with the hand up, they have the shrine with the candles, the biscuits, the offering to their deities, whatever is symbolic in their faith of shirk. Tayyib, they're whatever they are. Mathalan, they are upon shirk. but they get their meat from a wholesale distribution place. And a wholesale distribution place is not Buddhist or Hindu or Shinto or whatever the case may be. They may be Jews or Muslims or Christians or atheists. You see what I'm saying to you? It's different now. You see what I'm saying? So what you have to do is stick with the closest principle that you can. The country in general, in general, the restaurant in general, and the person in general, to the best of your ability. But la yalzam. There's some Muslims who may serve meat that's not been slaughtered properly. And he's a Muslim. His aqeedah is la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Everybody clear on this or not? So yeah, it has to be a balance. It has to be a what? A balance. Is this country a Christian country? Can you say that? Is America a Christian country? In God we trust. Maybe somebody may say it is a Christian country. And somebody else may say for every relic of Christianity, it is also a relic of paganism and the worship of idols. We're not even getting into the concept of the mark of the beast and Illuminati and all of Freemasonry. That's a very, very long discussion early on in the early days of this country. The point is, for everything that you prove that's a Christian country, somebody else can say it's a what? Stick with a balance. Stick with that which you're sure of to the best of your ability. Fear Allah to the best of your ability. The details of the slaughtered meats, can you eat it or not? It's been explained in other classes. Wallahu alam. Tafadal.
Yeah, just a follow-up. When it does come to the Ahlul Kitab meat, which overrides which? The belief that they are Ahlul Kitab or whether the animal is actually slaughtered or not?
If you ask me, it's the slaughtering of the animal, without a doubt. And that's a mistake that many people they make with regards to the Jews and the Christians. Are you saying they're not Christians? They all say Jesus, they all say Christian, so on and so on and so forth. But the meat, and that goes back to what I previously said, secular and nominal. These are the important concepts here. Listen very carefully. Secular and nominal. Church and state are two different entities, and totally different. Everybody understand this? Our faith, our belief in Christianity and in the Lord and the Savior, Jesus Christ, has nothing to do with our daily lives. Everybody understand this? Buying a house, leasing a car, dress code, dietary laws has nothing to do with Christianity. And that's how most people are today. You have a few Christians that are upon the original way, whether they're Amish or Unitarians or whatever. Then you have Jews, and they have the different sects and schism amongst them. Those who stick with glat, kosher glat, specific laws of the rabbi, salting the animal, the meat, so on and so forth. And then there are those who are reservative or conservative Jews. You see what I'm saying to you? And they're just like those Christians. I'm Jewish only by what? Lineage and faith. That's it. Lineage and faith. Daily practice? Nah. There's no Talmud, there's no Torah, there's no rabbi, there's nothing. Everybody understand this? So it depends on the person. So me personally, that is one of the most important factors, is how the animal was slaughtered. Is Chick-fil-A a Christian company? One may say yes. They promote Christianity. They promote morals and the different the kids meals that they give out. The CEO, the president of the company. But how's the chicken being slaughtered? Mass production. Everybody understand this? And the list goes on. Wallahu alam. Not to mix the two together. Not to what? Mix the two. Fadal. Walaikum salam.
PA from Orebro, Sweden.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu
Assalamu alaikum,
Akbar.
Sheikh. May Allah reward you for your work.
Allahu Akbar.
And we brothers here in Sweden look up to you.
Allahu Akbar.
However, my question is, how does one get his taqwa, increase and keep it?
طيب. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله.
How does one obtain taqwa
أشهد
and keep taqwa?
أن محمدا
May Allah Azza wa Jal bless all our brothers and sisters in Sweden. Jazakallah khairan for your kind words. May Allah make us better than what you think. May Allah unify the brothers and the sisters there upon the hadith of the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam. As far as the question Then it's similar to the previous question about being far from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
حي على الفلاح
How do you know, or how do you realize, or what is the cause behind you being far from Allah? And what's the solution? The exact opposite. Getting closer to Allah through taqwa.
الله أكبر
Getting closer to Allah through taqwa subhanahu wa ta'ala. Seeking nearness and closeness to Allah through taqwa. Everybody clear on this? The answer is very simple. And that is in understanding what taqwa is. Sometimes taqwa means fear. Sometimes taqwa means a shield. Sometimes taqwa means doing something. Sometimes taqwa means avoiding something. Staying away from something is what? It's taqwa. You don't know, you can't know what is or what isn't taqwa unless you have knowledge of kitab and sunnah. Knowledge of kitab and sunnah. The general rule is that when Allah tells us to do something in the Quran and Kareem, in a religious sense, He loves that thing. He loves it. And He's pleased with that thing. So therefore it's ibadah. And if it's ibadah, then it's a means of what? Taqwa. So one of the first ways of obtaining taqwa is making dua to Allah for it. Secondly is obtaining proper knowledge. Thirdly is implementing and acting upon the knowledge that you get. Even if not everything, but most of it or some of it. Pay zakat on your wealth that you've amassed. Everybody understand this? Then another way of obtaining taqwa is by hanging around people who are of taqwa. Being around the righteous, pious believers. Not Muslims. Muslims are wicked. Muslims are heedless. They lack observance. Muslims that are praying every day 5 times. Muslims that are wearing hijab. Muslims that are not afraid to be identified as Muslims. Muslims that are eating the halal. Muslims don't have girlfriends. Muslims that are trying and striving to do the right thing. These people you have to keep in your company, and and vice versa. You have to always be around them. Everybody understand this? This is a way of obtaining it, and it's also a way of what? Keeping it up. Because you could be around someone, you can be shy. And you can be afraid to do something. I have a problem smoking cigarettes, but I can't be hanging out smoking cigarettes with the brothers. They got beers and thobes, and I'm around the corner smoking. You feel bad, you feel shy. And that shyness that you feel is not something that you're just fronting in front of the people, but it's a means of helping you wean yourself off of that addiction. You stop saying, whoa, wait a second. I didn't smoke all day. I didn't smoke a cigarette all day long because I was around the brothers. I didn't have a place to go hide and smoke a cigarette. I didn't have nowhere to go and do it by myself. And then you realize I survived. All day I didn't smoke. And then the next day, and you're traveling with the brothers, and you're in the masjid until you eventually what? You gather some momentum to kick in. Everybody understand this? These are very important concepts. Good company. These are all ways of obtaining taqwa. And this question could be answered in an entire lecture. This is in brief. Wallahu alam.
ZU from Birmingham, UK. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Is it permissible to study foreign languages other than Arabic?
Is it permissible to study foreign languages other than Arabic? I don't see why not. Especially if there's a need or necessity. If there's a need in learning a foreign language, let alone a necessity. If a person just wanted to study it because he liked the language, I don't see why it is haram or disliked. As far as that was Shaykh Islam ibn Taymiyyah mentioned about the dispraise of speaking other than Arabic, if you know Arabic, then first and foremost, that's not the Quran and the Sunnah. That's not the Quran and the Sunnah. And Allah tells us in the Quran, from His ayat, is the difference of your tongues. Is the difference of your what? Your tongues, your languages. Islam is for all. And for us to say that you have to speak Arabic if you know it, and you can't speak your original language, it's a bit difficult. Let alone the fact that when we read the book of Shaykh Islam in which that's mentioned, and many others of Shaykh Islam Taymiyyah, in the modern world today, it's very difficult to apply because of the secular lifestyle, the nominal lifestyle. The Muslims back in the day, they didn't live how they live today. And this is crucial in understanding many fiqh issues, many dawah issues. Everybody understand this? When did the Muslims on a large scale live with non-Muslims? After the Prophet ﷺ made hijrah, after the conquest of Mecca. Everybody understand this? It was country after country after country after country that was opened up. And the Muslims were dominant. Those who remained in the non-Muslim lands either made hijrah or the country eventually became a what? Or they remained as minorities, but not on this scale. Not on what? On this scale. A mass scale. How many people in this one masjid? It's like, where's your father from? 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 It wasn't like that back in the day. Everybody understand this? Darul Iman, Darul Kufr. It's clear. Nowadays, you see what I'm saying to you? You have people, France, English, you have the Muslims, the Arabs, that love the non-Arabic language more than the Arabic language. Everybody understand this? This is a reality. You have the system of traveling, everything. The whole system is based off of English. Based off of the Gregorian calendar. And the list goes on and on. The banking system. We talk about riba and interest and usury. Everything is based off of one way or another, some type of bank thing that's impermissible, one way or another. You have a debit card, you have a credit card, you have this, what can you do? Back in the day, it wasn't what? It wasn't like this. Everybody understand this? There were difficulties back in the day, but things were what?
Simpler.
They were different and they were simpler in many aspects. Everybody understand this? Wallahu a'lam. That's my view on that issue, and Allah knows best.
Sheikh, I have a question.
Fadl.
For the chat, there's a brother that donated money so that his question could be answered. Does his question comes much later? What's the policy on that?
Policy is the Messenger of Allah alayhi salam, when he was asked about the last day, in the authentic hadith, Tayyib, and the Messenger of Allah says, what did he do? He continued to do what?
Talk.
He continued to speak. And then he said what?
Raise the question.
Where's the man who asked about the last day? And he asked him so on and so forth. When will it be? So on and so forth. Everybody saying this? Some of the ulama of Islam, they say this hadith proves the concept of precedence. First come, first serve. And he gave him his haqq that he had previously asked about before anybody else, after he had finished or taken care of what he was doing. Alayhi salatu wasalam. So therefore, in brief, our policy is the first person to ask the question, inshallah ta'ala, is the first person to become answered. If you donate money, you wish to donate money to the cause, jazakallahu khairan. May Allah accept it from you. Thank you very much. It's needed, it's appreciated. But it doesn't mean that if someone has a privilege over another, a gold, platinum, there's no hadith disciple black card. Not yet, at least. They're working on it, inshallah.
AK from Cologne, Germany. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Is it permissible to make up the Sunnah Ratiba from Dhuhr prayer before Asr Salah comes in?
If you didn't intentionally leave it off, but it was something that came between you and making a prayer that you normally make, inshallah ta'ala, hopefully labas. Nothing wrong with that, inshallah.
MK from UK, London. Where is it best to study, a Markaz or Jamia? Is there a difference?
I don't think I can answer that question because I haven't been to every country. I haven't been to every university. I've only been to a few countries and a few places, a few centers. So to answer a question like that necessitates for me to have been to all of those places. Everybody understand this? And this is a common mistake that many people they make. They say, what's the best book on this? What's the most knowledgeable person on this issue? To answer that question, you have to have read all of the books of what? On that field, or at least most of them. What are the best books? Different story. What are the most popular books? What do the ulama suggest? That's a what? Different story. But to say, what is the best book? That necessitates what? Ilm. That I have ahattu ilman. I've encompassed and enveloped everything to give you that answer. So I can't give that answer. Where's the best place? As far as the difference between a markaz and a jamia, then there are things which are similar and there are things which are very contrast. As far as things which are similar, then there's a student and there's a teacher. And there's also a classmate. Okay, there's a halaqah in the masjid or in a classroom. It's a square or a circle. The squared circle. Everybody understand this? There is a mulqi. There's someone that's casting knowledge. And there's someone who's yatalaqqa, who's taking it. Everybody understand this? And there are things which are expected of you. And there's some type of evaluation. Whether it's written evaluation, whether it's hifz, tafidh. Everybody understand this? You write in a book. That is the way that you finish. The sheikh, he lets you leave the markaz after you write a book to prove your skill and your expertise. Everybody understand this or not? So there are certain things which are similar. And there are certain things which are very different. Such as grades. Such as evaluation in everything. Whether it's good, whether it's bad. That if you're in formal studies, you're evaluated on everything. You don't pass, you don't go on until you take a what? A quiz, a test, you offer a paper. And the markaz, you can just sit with the sheikh. And that's it. You may not even know the sheikh. And it's very possible you could study with someone for 20 years and he may not even know you. Literally. Everybody understand this? For 20 years, and he may not even know who you are. If he walked into you, he would know what you look like. You studied him for 20 years. Everybody understand this? And he, let alone, evaluated you. Everybody clear on this or not? So I think, wallahu alam, that which is best, if a student of knowledge has the ability to combine both. If you can study in a university or an institute, physically or online, and also after Dhuhr, after Asr, after Maghrib, after Isha, after Fajr, you sit in the halaqah as well. And you read the books, you make the tahfidh, and you study with the shuyukh, the ulama, and the talabat al-ilm traditionally. I think that's the best way. What you cover all your ground, inshallah. I think that's the what? That's the best way. Wallahu alam.
M.A. from Birmingham, UK. Is it permissible to earn money through stock marketing by selling and buying currency? Jazakallahu khairan.
Wa alaikum salam to Allah. Stock markets, as we've explained before on Mufti Q&A, some of them are haram, some of them are halal, some of them are gray, in the middle. It's dubious, doubtful, you're unsure. That which is clearly halal, it doesn't involve anything which is haram, la bas. It's a form of trading, commerce. That which is clearly haram, there's nothing to say about that. That which is doubtful, the Muslim should avoid and he should stay away from. But the whole entire system, unfortunately, at the end of the day, one way or another is what? Connected. One way or another. The concept of stocks and bonds, the concept of investments, like we said, there are things which are clearly haram. But because it's riba, clear riba, because it is investing in alcohol, swine, pornography, or anything like this, investing in weapons to blow up Muslims, waliyadhu billah, and things like this. And then there are things which there's nothing wrong with. It's something that is permissible to all. I invested in methadone, Stanley, the beverage containers, flasks, vacuum, you see what I'm saying to you, thermos. Drink whatever you want to drink out of it. Muslim, non-Muslim, alcohol, tea, whatever you want to drink. Labas. And then there's certain things which are what? In the middle. My advice is currency, whatever it is, whatever stock is, you talk to a specialist. And that specialist should be someone who is skilled in their field. They don't have to be Muslim, but skilled. And they have to be trustworthy and open and upfront and honest. Everybody understand this? In brief, there was one individual, me and another friend, we went and we spoke to. And alhamdulillah, this person was an expert, a master at his or her craft with regards to finances. Everybody understand it? Star-studded resume. And we spoke to them and we explained to them our position. And this lady, she also had many questions for us. She had questions for me. And the reason why she had questions is because I have customers, I have clients from Nigeria, from UAE, from Saudi, from all over the Muslim and Arab world. And some of them, they come in and they give me $1 million, $100,000 and say, just in 10 years, 15 years, give me such and such back. They don't care. And others, they say they don't want to be involved in something that's, dangerous Islamically, so on and so forth. So she asked the question, what is and what isn't haram in your religion? How do I proceed? What can I do? Everybody understand this? And as I gave her information, she also gave us what? A wealth of information as well. And informed us of the different types of investment. Certain investment, clearly, you don't want to be involved in as a Muslim. And there's certain investments which she said, I can take your wealth, however you give me, whatever amount you give me, and I can manage it and talk to my people. This is his money here, put it in here, don't give it to him. And so on and so forth, and keep your money clean. Or relatively what? Clean. Everybody understand this? So you have to speak to someone who has knowledge, skill, the ulama. Everybody understand this? The ulama of the deen, and then you have the ulama of the cream. Everybody understand this? It's a reality. And they should be skilled. And everybody doesn't know everything. There's some people may think it's okay, but it's not okay. Everybody understand this? Or there's some people, they aren't willing to work with you. They don't really respect you as a person. Everybody understand this? May Allah guide that lady, and all of the kuffar who have some type of ethic with them. Wallahu alam. Tfaddal. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
So right now, in the financial markets, there are Islamic stocks, Islamic funds. So if you work at a place that have 401k and things like that, you have to tell your employer
Okay.
that they have to
Islamify.
to give you Islamic options in your portfolio, make it available to you. Like where I work, they have a 401k, but they don't have the Amana Group Fund, which is the Islamic stock. So for me to invest in that, I have to first of all let them know that you need to make this part of the company's portfolio.
Clear. Wa alaikum salam. Crystal clear.
For us to benefit from it.
Yes, yes. Jazakallah khairan. That's important. And that goes back to just living as a Muslim and identifying yourself as a Muslim. Everybody should know, unless there is a need and someone not knowing that you're a Muslim. A covert option or action, something which you got to be, off the radar, quote unquote, for the benefit of Islam and the Muslims. It's a reality. There may be somebody who works in the airport or works in the law enforcement, unfortunately, or the military, and he's a stone cold Muslim. But to keep that position and to help Muslims and keep them from getting oppressed, no one knows that he's a what? Muslim. He makes salah on his break when no one sees him. He doesn't talk about religion, none of these things. He has to remain there in that post. But if that's not the case, your boss, your employers, your employee, they should all know what, Umar? Muslim, clear as day. And I stand on values and principles. Shaking a woman's hand, drinking alcohol. I can't come over your house and watch the game. Shake your hands, wife, sit, have a couple cold ones with the fellas. It's a reality. Because all jobs, they want this from their employees. They want a fraternity, just like a school. It's much more than you studying and getting a degree. They ask you, what have you been involved in? What type of it's a fraternity, a brotherhood. Everybody understand this? So they should be knowing that you're a what? Muslim. Certain things I can do. Islam does not prohibit me from saying hello, how you doing? If there's a female co-worker, hello, all right, you hold the door. Bil ma'ruf. They're not be flirting and lusting. Everybody understand this? There's a homosexual at your job. He's your co-worker. His sexual orientation it's not to be discussed in the workplace. Professionalism. Everybody understand this? But they should know that he's a what? He's a Muslim. I'm not even going to come to him with no alcohol. I'm not going to come to him with no pornographic stuff on my phone. We're not going to invite him to the Christmas party because he's a what? Muslim. And the same applies to his wealth. And then you also speak and you stand up for your rights. And there are many things that are available in restaurants, traveling, many things that you can do, but most Muslims just don't say anything. They don't care. And that goes back to what I said, Abu Idris, the root of everything is nominal, secular living. Everybody understand this? Church and state in one's own heart. The masjid, the mosque is only to go pray on Jumu'ah. That's it. Everything other than that is, modern. Hijab is only cultural. Beard is only cultural. Shaking a woman's hand, think this only cultural. New Islam. Allahu Musta'an. Allah help us. I believe it's time for us to stop. Anyone who didn't get a question answered tonight, please forgive me for my shortcomings. Hopefully in the next session we'll try to answer more questions and give more summarized answers. Jazakumullah.